Hello, everybody. Okay, if you're in the chat, then welcome. You got myself, K-Mack, and also my good friend John, who is a Liverpool nut and also a football nut, to be fair. We're just going to be having a chat about many things around football at the moment. We might even talk a little bit about Saudi Arabia. Who knows? I do understand there's a final going on at the moment. However, I've seen the first half and it's crap.
Where's the score?
Florentina had no shots on target, and West Ham had no shots on target. So you might want to tune into us and have a listen to what we're talking about and get involved in the chat as well. I'm good. I'm just checking we are live.
It says live 53, 54, 55 seconds. So
we are live. Great. Okay. How you doing anyway? You good?
Not too bad, buddy. Not too bad.
Good. Are you away at the moment, or you at home?
I have to be saying not too bad. I was supposed to be in Sheffield, but had a confusion with a couple of appointments that meant that I'm not in Sheffield. I'm at home, so I came home on an early day, ready to head on up to Sheffield for tonight for an early start tomorrow morning, and it's not going about now, so I'm back.
You headed up there?
No.
Oh, I was going to say.
I came home this afternoon to get my stuff sorted to drive up today for a 9 o'clock start.
Okay.
Tomorrow. And it was got wind of it being cancelled, so so I didn't actually make the trip. So
it could have been worse. So you could have actually been up there.
This is true. Very true. Yeah, very true.
So I'm just gonna say hello to a couple of people who's in. Big up Toto. Hope you're well. I'm not sure who else is in actually. Big up Statman and also big up Jamie. Watched your show earlier. Great show as always. So how are you feeling then at the moment? Because obviously season's over, football's kind of done. Obviously you've got a couple of finals that we've been watching. The Roma one I thought that was just fun. It was brilliant. It was just
the football was good. It was just the aftermath.
Shithousery in one game. It was insane.
Yeah, it's just the aftermath has kind of taken over from what a good game it was. Mourinho doing his normal self and having a bitch in a moan when it doesn't go his way. But then the fans then obviously getting the old ref at the airport and his family and throwing chairs and
that's insane.
It's disgusting. And they were saying the other day on they were talking on TalkSport saying if the had Mourinho's comments had any influence on how the fans reacted. Yeah, well, of course he did. Of course he did. If Mourinho had sort of come out and said, "Look, fair play to them. It was just one of those games. Unfortunately, didn't go our way." Blah 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 blah. But I mean, the manager comes out riled up and plays up. Then all that's going to happen is it's just going to rile the fans up even more, and then shit like that.
The referees are getting investigated, you know.
Pardon?
The referees are being investigated over their actual decisions in the game. Okay. I thought the penalty thing with the goalkeeper was just. There was no idea what was going on there. They just said no, you got to take it again. And guess who the VAR guy was?
Who's that?
David Coote.
It is crazy, isn't it? I don't get some of these decisions.
But... How on earth did basically two of the worst referees this season and two of the worst VARs do the FA Cup final and the Europa League final? Is beyond me.
Yeah, it's mental. Honestly, I do think. I think we've had that conversation before, though, with regards to refereeing and VAR. I think two things need to happen. I think, much like obviously the players have to come out, they're contractually obliged to come out and give interviews to the media. I think refs should have to come and do it and justify the decisions they're making. And I go back to it. I've said it before. I'll say again. I think that there should be a little bit like with the NFL when they make a decision, they make a call. They're on loudspeaker and they're saying red 22 and you had an offside and that and the other.
I think that's going to happen not next year, but the year after. They're going to have audio.
They should
referee audio.
the mental.
You need to hear what the referees are saying. Sorry, the players are saying. Because if the players are walking up to referees going, "You're an absolute wanker," like that would just stop completely.
Yeah,
the players would be like, just like in rugby, where they're like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, the rest
like the biggest guy in the world, you could literally crush you. Goes, "Yes, sir."
But that's the thing; the refs will have no choice but to take action. If they're being spoken to like the way you can see it, you can lip read. You know, people are stupid.
Yeah, you can tell.
You can see what's going on. But like I say, refs will have no choice but to take action. Yeah.
Mad.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing I find is that if you ever look on YouTube, I think we said it before. If you ever look on YouTube, there's a video from I think the Australian League from about 3 seasons ago. And the guy, as far as I'm aware, the referee from that game is now reffing championship games over here. And he's actually got audio commentary. It's not announced to the fans or anything, I don't think, but it's you can sit at home and you can listen and you know what's going on. And you know exactly what they're conferring about, you know exactly why the decision's made. And to a certain extent, it might stop some arguments. It will definitely stop any sort of conspiracy and any corruption in terms of, look, we've been dropped an extra 50 quid, mate. Just give the pen. Not I think that would never happen, but you know what I mean. It's you might be a little bit more understanding as to why something's been given or not been given, or do you know what I mean?
No, it would totally just put a complete stop to it all, and also it'd be a case of, well, yeah, I booked him because of there's no gray area. It's like, yeah, he was booked because the linesman told me he did that, or I told the linesman, what did you see? And you know what I mean? It's a case of it would just be more clear.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they've kind of dug themselves into a hole as well by just not booking players for time wasting and shouting at them.
Yeah.
When they do that thing where they all just crowd around the ref just goes, yellow card, doesn't matter if it's the first minute. And then it just stops. Because players will be like, well, I don't want to get booked straight away.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're the rules.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. It will force the referees to implement the rules. Because they have all this talk about how do you stop this shithousery from happening? How do you stop the players from berating the referee and questioning their decisions?
By booking them and sending them off.
Yeah, enforce the rules. if you get abuse, don't take it. Show them the card. Over the audio, you turn around. I've just sent off thing because he called me a obscene. Obscene word or blah blah blah.
Or that was a leg breaker. Oh, but I don't want to send the player off in the first minute because it'll ruin the game.
Yeah. No, get him off. Talking about leg breaker, did you see that with Tammy Abraham the other day? That looked horrible. Did you see it?
Oh, he's done, isn't he? He's done.
Yeah.
He won't be getting.
Did you see the video footage of it?
It's shocking.
Yeah, horrible.
Shocking. So what did I want to talk? I didn't really want to talk about referees, but we did.
Yeah. Inevitable, really.
I wanted to. I wanted to have a chat about Bobby Firmino, because he's just unbelievable. Guy's just a legend. Just what a player. And I just love the fact that he went out on his last season, which I really don't think it should have been his last season, by the way. I think we could have definitely got another year out of him.
Yeah.
But he went out on his terms and scored a lot of goals. Scored some really big goals as well. That probably got us a lot higher than we should have been. And even that Southampton equaliser, did you see it? He was he flying kicked it in.
Yeah, just threw everything at it, didn't he?
He's just been brilliant. He's just been brilliant this season.
Yeah.
And it's just such a shame that
the problem is, I think he started really well. He started really well. He got injured halfway through the season, didn't he? And then came back and again done really well. And I think maybe if that injury wasn't there halfway through the season, he'd had a complete. I think potentially would have got another year out of him or another contract at least. And because I say it is a shame. It is a shame, and you can see the thing I like about Bobby, and I think what all fans like about him, is the fact that if he's playing, he's happy. If he sat on the bench, he's happy. If he gets on, he's ecstatic. And you don't hear anything about him bitching, moaning, throwing his toys out of the pram. Everyone banged on about how much of a loss Sadio Mane was, but how many times did that bloke come off the pitch, launching a water bottle, chatting to himself under his breath, and just expressing the fact he wasn't happy that someone else was getting on in front of it? Don't get me wrong, quality player, great player, but you just think to yourself, that's not a team. That's not a team attitude. When you're part of a team, and Salah's guilty of it to a certain extent.
Salah never gets taken off, so he never.
That's the thing; he doesn't get taken off as much. I think more so with him though, he gets taken off, and you can see his frustrations. But I think his frustrations are more so at himself because he can see why he's been taken off because he hasn't performed. But Sadio Mane, you'd see the look in his face of disgust that did even contemplate taking him off. And
he looks over at Salah, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, why me? Like, why aren't you getting taken off?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always getting taken off. You're not.
Yeah. But going back to Bobby, like I say, he's never wins. He's never complained. You never see any bad press about him.
He works so hard as well.
Yeah. And I think that was half his problem. Like, not problem, but half his downfall in the end, because I think sometimes when you just needed him to be that towards the end, when we saw, well, say the end, because obviously the end was last season.
The end's been pretty good, like for him, to be fair. Probably the year before or the year before that.
I think the last couple of seasons where our midfield has been good, very good. You dropping off? Are you there?
Is that you or me?
I don't know. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. So I think these last couple of seasons where the midfield was okay, we're doing very well. I think he was still trying to do that bit where he drops into midfield and tries to do that link-up play, and then you missed him when you looking for your out-and-out striker, your number 9.
There's no one there.
Yeah. Whereas this season, our midfield hasn't obviously been what it was in previous seasons, and then we've needed that link-up play to a certain extent. So he's done well on that front, but also what he's done well is he's then got forward and he's actually hit the back of the net, which a few of the other guys have. I
think the weird thing about that is, it's like we signed a player to replace Bobby, because Bobby couldn't produce the amount of attacking threat that he did the seasons before, and then we changed the way we play to suit Bobby more.
Yeah.
And then Bobby goes. You know what I mean? It's like we now play the way Bobby can score goals with.
Yeah.
And we didn't before because we needed him to be the creator in the center, if that makes sense. And now we don't, because we create so much more through the wings where we just need someone to hit the ball in the back of the net. And that's what Bobby could have done anyway. So it's like the last couple of seasons, we probably could have got 25, 30 goals out of Bobby if we'd have played that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And it is the way it is now. And it's like, are we going to play that way now? Because if we're going to play that way, we've now lost a player that could score 25 goals, which was Bobby.
I still think... however much I love Bobby and he's got that little bit of flair that you love, I still think in like the players we brought in, your Gakpo and Nunes. I still think we've got some very, very good very raw talent. And I think, like I say, if you look at Nunes, and I think his first season at Benfica, was it Benfica? Yeah. First season in Benfica, and he got 14 goals.
Was it 14 goals, was it?
14 goals in the first season, and then 36 in his second season. He's just scored 15 goals in his first season for us, and he hasn't really featured a great deal.
I think his goal for game ratio is actually really good. But you know what else I find weird about Nunes, and I was on a show earlier today. I was just in the chat and it kind of came up, and they were talking about some players that have been really exciting about signing, and you were disappointed, or some players that you weren't excited about signing, and then they turned out to be amazing. And they were talking about Suarez. There were so many people that weren't really bothered about Suarez.
No,
they're just
never heard of him.
Who's he? I've never seen him play.
Well, it was you heard who's this Suarez lad? Oh, he bit someone. That was
that was it. He's been banned for the last 6 months.
Yeah, he bit someone in the Dutch league. So he can't play. You go, oh,
he bit his mate. Do you know he bit his mate? That was actually one of his mates. He bit. That was one of the examples. It was no one really knew who Suarez was, but when he turned up, it was Jesus Christ, where did he come from?
Yeah.
And then everyone was really excited about Andy Carroll.
Yeah.
And then he flattered to deceive.
Yeah. But same with it's a bit like Jota. I remember when Jota signed a primary example.
Yeah.
Milner. I'll be the first one to hold my hand up, and I'm thinking, why the fuck are we signing boring Milner?
I know. Well, I was more excited because he was a winner, because he was more of a winner for me. We didn't have any winners.
Yeah.
But just going back to what I said about certain players that we've signed. Does Núñez fit into the Carroll category?
No.
And the reason why I say it is because he's come from a club which was in a kind of a league which is a bit of a lower league, if you and he scored a bunch of goals, which Carroll did for Newcastle, who were in the lower division. Is he feeling like an Andy Carroll to you? Because he does to me. He really, really does to me.
For me, I think we've had this conversation before again with Núñez, and I think for me, getting sent.
Sorry, the guy who's just in the chat. Big up.
I think for me, getting sent off early doors, I think didn't help with his confidence. There was a lot of media pressure then on him, coming in the same season with Haaland as well. And everyone sort of trying to compare the two because the transfer fees were similar, and
that was just ridiculous.
Their scoring record from previous seasons.
That was the media more than anyone else. That was the media. That was the media more than anything. That was Sky Sports putting up their numbers next to each other. Just come on.
And I think the problem is, and he said it himself, the language barrier. He has at certain times, I think early doors, he didn't have a clue what even Jurgen Klopp was talking about. He had Thiago being a translator between everyone, and he's got no idea what the Scouts boys are saying, let alone anybody else. So you get, I think that's why towards the end of the season we haven't seen a great deal of him. But I think Klopp's done his bit. Oh, you there? You gone?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Hello.
You keep dropping.
I think Klopp's done his bit. Is it me or you? I think Klopp's done his bit.
If it's me, it might be because I've still got the game on in the background. Let me pause it.
Okay.
Let me pause it. Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah. No, for me, I think. Yeah, I think. Do you remember when Fabinho signed? And it was probably about 10, 15 games before we actually started seeing him properly. He'd be introduced with 20 minutes to go, or he'd be a bit part player. And you spend all this money from this absolute shit hot player from.
Well, we didn't sign him as a midfielder though. He was a right back.
No, but that's what I mean.
He was Brazil's right back, by the way.
Yeah,
he was their international right back.
He was from Monaco, though, wasn't he? Was it Monaco?
Yeah, he was their international right back as well.
But yeah, you got this shit hot player that's come in. You spent a fair bit of money on him, and again, he's sat warm on the bench. And you go, is it because he's not performing, or? And I think it was Klopp's sort of way of wrapping him in bubble wrap, protect him a little bit. And I think that's what Klopp's tried to do with Núñez towards the end of the season by not sort of playing him at times. I think it is getting him used to the culture, getting him used to the sort of the language, taking him out of the sort of public eye, and hopefully, I might be proven wrong, but I think hopefully unleash him next year, get a decent pre-season behind him, get him speaking the language so he can actually know what everyone's talking about. And then, like I say, I'm hoping he can come back next year. I was adamant. Start of the year, I honestly thought he was going to, when he came in as the sort of out and out striker for him, I honestly thought he'd have outscored Salah. He hasn't. And I had a bet at work that he'd outscore Gabriel Jesus. I thought Jesus, great player, but he's not.
He didn't play enough though. But I mean, gee, I disagree with you on a couple of things. One of them is the language. He's got Bobby Firmino there. Bobby Firmino speaks English, speaks Brazilian, speaks the same language. Right?
He's not Brazilian though,
he doesn't speak Uruguayan. He speaks Spanish. He speaks Brazilian. Well, it's Portuguese, isn't it? Sorry, Portuguese, which is Brazilian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like yeah.
Yeah, so he's got Bobby Firmino there. So, and Bobby Firmino's been injured most of the season. So, if he wants to learn or he wants to understand how we play, then he listens to him. I just think the whole Thiago thing, that was just he was probably saying to him, fucking mark someone in the box when we have a corner.
Yeah.
That's probably what he was saying, because he doesn't mark anyone when we have any set pieces against us. He's been culpable for so many goals we've conceded this season. And that's just through just not having the concentration or just not doing what you're supposed to do, which is mark your player and track your player. They are the basics of any footballer. I'm not even talking about missing sitters, because my God, he missed some sitters. I mean,
he did. But again,
the reason why Salah didn't break his other record, is because Núñez missed all the big chances. Salah didn't miss the big chances. Núñez missed them, and Salah put them on a plate for him. I don't know. I really don't know, because next season, that's Gakpo and Jota's position.
Yeah.
We can't be having Jota on the left wing next season. We can't be having Núñez on the left wing next season. These players aren't left wingers.
That'd be Diaz out there, wouldn't it?
These aren't left wingers. They're not left wingers. I don't even think Diaz is a left winger, really. I think he's more of a left midfielder. But we can't be having these players out of position again. And then you've got 3 strikers for the centre. 3 strikers for that centre position. For me, Núñez doesn't fit in them. Jota's a better scorer. Jota scores better chances, more conversions.
Yeah,
Gakpo's more functional. Gakpo suits the formation and the structure, which means that there's interplay and there's build-up play. Núñez, there's none of that. It's literally give the ball to Núñez and see what he does, because he doesn't do anything else to bring anyone in. When he did that cross for Salah for that assist, but I don't think that was meant to happen. I don't think Salah was supposed to be there.
Against
Everton.
For me, I just feel for the guy, because I say a little bit like when Thiago came into our team. We had all the injuries, and then Thiago was being made to play a position that wasn't kind of natural to him. He didn't have all the support around him that he needed, with regards to sort of more senior players and stuff. And Thiago didn't look half the player he actually is. And I think we said in the last chat, I think Thiago is amazing. I think he's one of our best players. But again, I don't think he suits our style of play at times. But I just hope for Núñez's sake, he comes in and he does a good job next year. So I think there's so many people hating on him at the moment. But like I say, Benfica, okay, the Portuguese league isn't amazing, but he scored 60 odd goals over 2 seasons there. So
he scored 36 goals for Benfica the season before we signed him.
Yeah,
and he played as a striker. He played in a 4-4-2.
Mm.
We don't play 4-4-2.
I thought
we were going to play 4-4-2 with him and Salah, because that would work.
Maybe though gives us the option to mix it up, because I mean we've been guilty of it all season this year. We've been far too predictable. We haven't had any other option. Early doors we didn't have any other option but to go for the 4-3-3.
I honestly feel they bought Gakpo because they couldn't trust him for the goals.
Potentially,
I honestly felt like they bought Gakpo because they're like, shit, where are we going to get goals from? This Nunes isn't working.
I think for me, we went for Gakpo on the fair basis that I think obviously Jota was still injured, Bobby was injured, and I think there was uncertainty with regards to when they were going to be back and available. And again, they didn't come back until towards the end of the season. But I think Gakpo's done very well to the point where he's justified his position. Right? Let me turn on 2 seconds.
The interesting thing with Gakpo is he scored. I think he scored 13 goals.
Yeah.
For PSV before we signed him.
Yeah.
And then he scored 9 for us. Like he's literally had a very, very good season right across the board. Like, because he was playing well before us and he was playing well when he signed for us. I mean, he had like a couple of games, like the first couple of games where he didn't score, but my God, our top goal scorer was another player from another team called Faust. Scored 2 own goals during that time period.
Yeah.
Which was the first 2 months of the year.
That was horrible. And someone throwing that spat at me, and I was a bit like, no, surely. Oh, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
So,
So.
Oh, you're frozen again.
Yeah. Okay. Back.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I just having when you look at our forward line now, and you've got Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, Jota, and Salah. So I already said that? Salah
and Nunes.
You got 6 players that can all play in that forward line. All of a sudden, you've got the same problem that City have got, where they've got a great player per position as a backup. How quite Klopp goes about managing it and who plays when, not for me to call out, but
it's a good problem.
It's a nice problem to have. Yeah, it's a nice problem to have. I mean, you look when we've had it previously. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like we said before, Divock Origi, he scored some big goals on some big occasions, but then come round to your league matches and your cup games, and he was absolute dog shit.
Well, not in the cup games.
Pardon?
Did quite well in the cup games as well.
No, I mean domestic cups, not.
He scored a big goal against Everton.
Yeah, but again, I say when you put him in a game
he scored a pretty big goal in the Champions League final as well.
Yeah, that's European, though, isn't it? That's European. That's what I'm saying. Domestic, I'm talking.
All right. We had Minamino for that, though, didn't we?
Yeah, but Minamino came in. He done well, but again, he wanted to start sort of first team football, didn't he? As it come up to the World Cup, and we couldn't give him that. And I still think with him there was something not quite right behind the scenes. When you see us win the league and everyone's up on stage doing their bit and jumping around, the rest of it, he's kind of standing around like a lonely little man. No, and he wasn't integrated very well. Obviously, we went off Southampton, done a good job.
The thing about that, what you just said about like having that problem of having really good players for each position. I don't think we need really good players for each position as backup, because sometimes the really good players aren't great, like don't do a great job when they come in, like for bit parts. And I feel like in those positions right now, those players that we have as backup for forwards aren't great coming in for a game or two. They're not the players that do that. They play really well when they played for like 5 games. You know what I mean? It's like next season. It's like next season with. Sorry, it's like next season with like Jota. Like Jota isn't a sub. Jota isn't an impact player. He doesn't score those goals. Jota scores goals when he plays a whole game, and then he'll just bang one in the last like 10 minutes.
Yes and no. I mean,
he doesn't score goals when he comes off the bench.
But when you go back to Jota and you look at that season, what would I like to say, when Mane's last season, if you look at the stats from that game, hello?
Yeah.
Get some interference then. Yeah, if you look at that stats from that season, him and Mane, in terms of minutes, Jota played, I think it was something like 900 odd minutes less than Mane did, and scored 1 less goal. So he's obviously coming off the bench and doing his bit. Or he's not playing as many minutes and still scoring. So we see he can still do that impact role. I guess it's going to be a case of seeing what happens next season, right? I mean, we've got to put our faith in the club. We've got to put the faith in Klopp. He's hopefully now getting the backing that everyone's been asking for.
Fiorentina have scored.
Have they?
Yeah. Sorry, West Ham have scored. Sorry, West Ham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, West Ham are winning.
Fair play to them.
No, they're scum. They're scum. Did you see what the fans did to the Fiorentina player?
No.
He was taking a corner and they chucked all their rubbish at him, and he split his head open.
Oh shit! No, I didn't see that.
During the game. Scum. Hope they lose.
I don't mind West Ham as a club though. I say maybe not their fans, but
no, I want Moyes sacking anyway. He's crap.
But
I think he will get back. Though. I think he will get back though. Now, I think we're going to spend over 200 million like this summer.
I think.
Oh, it's 1-1 now. Someone's just posted 1-1.
I think when you look at no, well, like I say, you see, obviously in the background now, I've got it all going on. They're talking about Jude Bellingham going to Real Madrid in a deal worth 115 million. Blah 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 blah.
88 million up front.
Yeah, with the total deal, which
88 million and a new set of knees.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That would concern me.
Got a knee
I say he hasn't been out for long periods of time, but he has been out for periods of time. I hope we get that to Ram.
I know something about that not a lot of people know about. It's not being posted around.
What about Ram?
We bid 34.5 million yesterday for him. And his dad was at Anfield about a month and a half ago.
Okay.
We've done the work. We've done the work. It's happening.
Was it Thuram or was it the other lad, that Kone?
Lilian Thuram's his dad.
Yeah, no, but I can't remember. I saw a story the other day and they were talking about either him or Kone turned up to their first ever...
We're getting Kone as well. I'll tell you about... I might as well just tell you about all of this, okay? So, Lilian Thuram was shown around Anfield by Thiago. They used to play together.
Yeah.
They used to play together. So he came as a guest and he was in the box and he got shown around because Thiago's injured. So Thiago spent a bit of time with him. His dad wants his son to come to Liverpool. Going to turn down PSG. It's going to be about 43 million. It's not going to be like 50, 54, I think they want. It'll be lower than that. The £35 million McAllister deal, that was done in February, by the way.
Yeah.
His dad was spotted at Anfield in February.
Yeah.
We were all over McAllister. And the reason why is, and you can thank Arsenal for it, when they started sniffing around Caicedo,
yeah,
the agent was talking about release clauses, and we asked about Caicedo as well. But when we asked about Caicedo, we didn't go to the agents of Caicedo. We went to Tony Bloom directly. So we did the right thing and we went to the right people.
Yeah.
And Tony Bloom said, I'm not looking at selling Caicedo at all. Like, he's only just signed for us, blah, 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 blah. And then he said, we've got a gentleman's agreement with McAllister. Like, if a team comes in and bids a reasonable offer, then we'll accept it. And Liverpool literally said, so what do you rate him as? And they said, we will rate him as like 35 million. This is before the World. This is just after the World Cup.
Yeah.
This is just after the World Cup. But we did this before the World Cup. Okay. So we found this out before the World Cup. And we knew he only had a year left. And we were looking at him anyway, but I don't think we were looking at him. I think we were looking at Caicedo. Yeah. And because Arsenal pissed off Bloom because he went to the agents, he turned around and said, you're not going to get him. We're not going to sell him because Arsenal have done this. And he's also, he's got no release clause. But they told us about McAllister. They told us about McAllister. So we already knew about McAllister before anybody else knew about this gentleman's agreement for 35 million. And then we just sorted it all out. Got his dad round the club in February. Like, he turned down Man United, Chelsea, and also Man City, by the way. So we had him sorted months ago.
And if that is the case, fair play to him, because he's kept his attitude in check, because he's played really well second half of the season. You see it sometimes where players get a deal in place and they just relax. They just got nothing to play for, really.
I heard some unbelievable stuff about him. I listened to this podcast and they had a guy from Argentina on it talking about him. The guy's a monster. Like, he's missed 4 games in his entire career, and 3 of those games were for a virus. He's an absolute monster.
I've got to admit, I got pissed off that Brighton left him out of that game against. Was it Chelsea? Not Chelsea.
No, it wasn't Chelsea. It was Newcastle, wasn't it?
Newcastle. There's parts of me that thought to myself, yeah, it seems like we're after Kano Vegas.
Big up, Mikey.
I think there was
Kone as well. Do you want me to tell you about Kone?
Yeah, go on.
Kone, if Mikey M doesn't know this, Kone plays for a team that George Smack's son has just become the scout of. So we already know that he's available for 30 million and he's getting sold to us. Like, Thuram and Kone have been spotted together as well. And it might be in London. Like, so they're hanging around together now. So the pair of them are coming to Liverpool. And also McAllister's tweet about him going to Liverpool, Keprin Thuram liked it. Why is he following McAllister?
There was something I read.
To follow.
Yeah, there was something I read. It was either Kone or Thuram.
They did tweets with emojis.
Yeah, but there was some
mission ongoing. Like, this was like 2 days ago.
Yeah,
they're coming. Yeah. They're coming.
Yeah, there was something I read the other day. It was either Kone or Thuram. They were saying that the first time they turned up for training for FC Paris or something, he turned up in a Liverpool kit.
Yeah,
because he's a big Liverpool fan. I can't remember what it was. I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, they said he's a massive Liverpool fan. I'm sure it's Kone. Turn up for FC Paris in his Liverpool kit.
We need to look at FC Paris for potential players. They are producing some absolute monsters.
Yeah.
The amount of players that have come out of FC Paris is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like a second tier Paris Saint-Germain, like for kids. So it's mental. Like some of the players that come out of there. Also, Keprin Thuram's brother.
Is it Marcus?
He's available on a free transfer.
Is it Marcus?
Marcus Thuram. He's available on a free transfer. Like he's an absolute monster. Have you seen him?
Bash Brothers. Be like the Mighty Ducks. Remember that? The old Bash Brothers.
Mate, he's a forward as well. Like you can play right across the front line.
They're like they're something like they're like 6'3" or 6'4" or something ridiculous. They're massive.
They're both 6'4".
That's scary.
They're both 6'4". Those two are done. Like I wouldn't say like players are done like, but those two are done. Like, and also Viega, the guy from Celta Vigo, that's possibly getting done as well. That's 36 million. He wants Liverpool want to get all those players signed. Like that is what that's basically what's being said around.
And I think the one thing that
the midfield's getting invested in big time.
Yeah, and I think what I like is it's going back to the original kind of plan with regards to FSG, where it's everyone I speak to here. As well.
I'll get rid of these.
It's going back to the whole the initial plan for FSG, getting in the young players that you can build a squad with and you can build for the future. I think we've done that obviously when Klopp first came in. And obviously, he said within a couple of seasons he'd win the league, and
he did.
2-3 seasons, he said he'd win the league.
He said 3 years, didn't he? And he did.
Yeah, won it in the third year. And again, like I say, it's going back to that original philosophy. I think we went away from it for a little bit with regards to going in with Thiago, Milner. Not that I can criticize them, because I think Thiago on his day, there's no one out there that can ping a ball or take the ball down first.
You know what's weird? You know what's weird? I've said this on other shows as well. Is it feels like well, I think he's left now. He's on a free transfer. Mikey M. So do you remember last year when the owners turned up at the West Ham game, just random? Do you remember they were sat in the stands? Well, not in the stands.
Okay,
They were sat like on the touchline at the West Ham away game. So it was at West Ham's. After that, Klopp stopped doing his weird press conferences.
Yeah,
and we then started to play Trent as the inverted right back. It feels like, and also Mike Hogan came back. Sorry, Billy Hogan came back. It feels like Klopp got an arse chewing. It feels like he was dragged into an office. No, honestly, it really does. It feels like
no. I agree with you. It's I thought this the other day. Do you watch Ted Lasso on?
Yeah. Well, I've seen a bit.
Yeah, in one of the last episodes, it's Richmond FC, who Ted Lasso, the American coach, runs, and then they're playing against West Ham, and the manager or the owner of the club, who actually used to own Richmond FC, came storming down on the pitch and started having a go at the manager of West Ham. Do this, blah blah blah, and like you say, I think very much the same. I think someone at some point has said something to Klopp, or whether the backroom staff or Klopp says something to the backroom staff, because something's changed. It's like we've always said on these conversations all along. I don't think we've ever sat there going, right, Fenway Sports Group out. I don't think we've ever sat there and gone, Klopp out. I think we've been advocates for change. How that change comes around isn't anything to do with us. it's something that the club's got to do, whether that's the club needs to make a change or whether Klopp needs to make a change. And regardless of where that decision came from, the change was made because all of a sudden we had different players playing in different positions. Favourites all of a sudden were benched.
You're absolutely right.
And that call for Trent to come out, I still think there's a bit of stubbornness there because they're talking about Trent coming out of right back and going into midfield. I think just has to be a permanent fix. Trent needs to come out of right back. Bollocks to all this inverted right back, blah blah. Still playing back whilst playing in the middle.
Break. If we carry on with this nonsense, we're going to break probably the next world class centre back in our team, which is Canate. If we carry on playing the way we do, we're going to break that kid. Like, he's 23. I think he can't be playing. He can't be playing right back as well.
No, but I think we'll also break Trent. Because if Trent's trying to play midfield and then cover back at right back when he can, and it goes back to a bit like Gerrard. Gerrard, when he was playing, the one reason why I think we missed him when he didn't play is because at the times he covered 4 or 5 different positions on the field. He'd play all 4 midfield roles, and next thing you'd see him dropping in at right back, or you'd see him dropping in at left back, and then you'd see him up top, and he'd be all over the field. But then when you see him in interviews now, he quite blatantly comes out and says that every single game he was carrying an injury, and it was just inject me, fix me, get me on the pitch.
It's insane.
You can't do that. You can't do that, players. Not with him. Not with how highly trained they are. I think that's half the problem with the players these days. They're trained to such an elite level. It's like an F1 car. I say your car, my car will go all day, every day for probably the next 10 years, having a service every 20,000 miles or whatever. You get an F1 car, or every 20 laps it has to go in for new tyres.
Spot on.
After every race, it goes in, it gets taken apart, stripped back, rebuilt, put back together again. And if you don't do that to a machine that is that highly trained or highly strung, you'll break it. And I think that's what is happening to a lot of players these days. And I think it goes back to what you said in our last chat about this whole redlining scenario, where you're training players to such a high degree that at some point the body just goes, you know what, can't do it anymore. And I think that showed at the beginning of the year. I think we had a lot of fatigue going through our team, as well as our confidence was low.
That probably boils down to the fact that Klopp gave the pre-season control over to Pep Linders, and he fucked it up.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like. And the thing about it as well is, what the hell did Klopp expect? Like, Klopp builds his teams off his pre-seasons. Like, if he doesn't have a good pre-season, he doesn't have a good bloody league title push. He just doesn't. He's even said it. Like, if I don't have a good pre-season with my team, then that takes it into the league. And we had a terrible pre-season. We got beat by everybody. Everyone we got beat by. I think we got beat by like Crew Alexandra away as well.
Horrible.
We were terrible, and it showed. You know what? You know what? The owners were at the Bournemouth game as well. You know, when we got beat 1-0. And that was a shocking game of football. Absolutely shocking. So that's 2 away games that the owners were at. And I honestly feel like he was thrown over the coals. Like, he literally said, you know what?
Do something.
you need to take a step back and concentrate on the football, because it's clearly not happening. Like, and there was like a big change. Like, honestly, it was just like Liverpool just started playing again. And it was like Stefan Bajcetic came in, and then it was Harvey Elliott got taken out. Curtis Jones came in. Trent got a different position change. Gomez got binned. Nunes got binned. You remember all of that happened.
Yeah,
all of that happened.
Mm.
Simmergas started to get some games. You know what I mean? Matip got binned. Henderson started to get benched a lot more. Milner got benched completely. Like,
Well,
it
West Ham
really
just
did
scored.
change.
West Ham just
Jota
scored.
came in. What's that?
West Ham just scored in the 89th minute. Gerard Bowen. Yeah, 2-1.
He's been good, he has. He's been good for them.
Yeah, 89th minute, though, actually, in theory.
That's it.
It should be done.
That's it.
Wow.
We could have the Europa Conference and the Champions League in the UK. That means more coefficient, doesn't it? It means that if Man City win the Champions League, I think there's 5 spots next season.
I thought that, but someone said the other day that it's not working that way.
Oh, it doesn't work that way.
No.
For some reason, Ukraine got the extra spot. Like, that's weird. Is that just because of the war?
I don't know. Sympathy vote again.
Or was that because they bribed them with the Mudrich money?
Yeah, maybe. It's good finish by Bowen.
So yeah, the Kone thing was really interesting because George Smack's son has just started as a scout for that club. And also, did you know that George Smack actually signed Vicky van der Ven as well? You know, the other guy that we're looking at.
He's another one that's been linked.
He signed him for Wolfsburg. He looks really good, by the way. He looks like a great replacement for Robinson.
Yeah, but he plays centre back as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, centre back and left back. We don't need a left back though, because we should be playing 3 at the back now. Like,
that'd be another lefty in the back line. We've got so many left.
We haven't got any, have we? Don't think we've got any left centre backs. Virgil's a right footer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he has to turn, doesn't he? He always has to do that turn inwards and then plays
I thought Matip was. Maybe I'm talking rubbish then.
No.
I thought Matip was left.
Gomez might be left-footed, you know.
No, Gomez is a right footer. There's videos online. Yeah, you have a look on YouTube. They I think it was the F2 Freestyles. They went up to Liverpool and done some free kicks with. It was a few years back. It was the
Markovic.
No, it was Trent. It was a little bloke we had.
Spanish.
No, like Ukrainian or something. Czech.
Grulich.
No.
Grulich.
The little guy, but it was shoulders like this.
Shaqiri.
Shaqiri, yeah. There was Trent Shaqiri, brothers.
Swiss.
Where was he from? Swiss, that's it.
Switzerland.
I knew he was somewhere in Europe.
I love that. The little bloke with the big shoulders. Okay, yeah, that's got to be Shaqiri.
Shaqiri.
That's got to be Shaqiri then.
Yeah, but he, you had 4 players all stepping up doing free kicks, and they had like the goal was marked out with the top corners, bottom corners, and they were aiming for each one. They were going on accuracy, and what's his name? Gomez stepped up,
was better than any of the others.
Had it go. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just ping, 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 ping. Got them all first time, like 5 out of 5. It was ridiculous. Just wandered off casually. So yeah, no, it's good.
I think the thing about it though is like elite footballers. Yeah, they can all do that, can't they? All day long.
Should be able to.
It's just being able to do it like under that much pressure at the exact moments. Like that's what it's all about.
70,000 people watching.
Yeah, and it's also like just and also being there. If you're a centre back, you're not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is weird though, like watching them like that. I've watched the Wrexham goalkeeper.
Ben Foster.
He's got a YouTube channel. He does he does a lot of stuff. It's really good actually. And there was him and Joe Hart playing as strikers.
Yeah.
Joe Hart's got an unbelievable shot on him and volley.
Isn't Joe Hart that he took some pens, didn't he, in a game at one point?
Yeah.
Was it him?
Yeah, you can take pens
He's a decent pen as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had like they had like Celtic's reserve goalkeeper in goal, and they were obviously, because he plays for Celtic, doesn't he, Joe Hart?
Yeah, Joe Hart. Yeah.
And they were taking shots at him honestly, like Ben Foster did this volley in the top corner, which was just like, you're like, Jesus Christ, mate, you're a goalkeeper. Like, that is a ridiculous volley you put in the top bin, and he was just like, yeah, should we just end it now?
Yeah.
But did you see him? He saved that penalty, which basically got Wrexham into the top flight. Sorry, back into the league.
Back into
the
league.
The 96th minute.
Yeah, I like that. Have you watched that? Have you watched that We Are Wrexham?
Yeah.
On Disney.
Some of it's all right, like, but it is a bit cheese.
Yeah, it's a bit cheese.
Did you see? Listen to this. Did you see the game that Ryan Reynolds set up between Wrexham and the USA women's team?
No.
Oh my God. It was like 13-0.
What, to Wrexham?
Yeah. It basically made the women look so bad.
Yeah, I'd say it's...
Mate, they had no players in their first team in this match. They were all like kids and like 88-year-olds. And you're like, that's the USA's main women's team. Like, they're supposed to be the best. Like, they won the World Cup.
It's like, what's her name? This who's their captain? Is that Rapinoe? Where her name is? Where she's fighting for female rights, and I get it. Like I say, there should be
never going to happen.
There's equal opportunity and all the rest of it. And the one thing I've always said
is a million miles behind men in football, just physically.
Yeah, I personally think there should be, when it comes to international football, I think there should be some sort of salary cap, and I do think there is an argument for a pay in terms of a pay structure. But I think what it should come down to, it should be a percentage of revenue or something like that. Because, like I say, unfortunately, and it is going to change. Don't get me wrong, it is going to change because you see the women's game being supported more and more.
The women's game is really good.
Yeah, and they get really more people attending, and the money will start coming into the game. But as it stands now, to turn around and start demanding the same amount of money for international appearances and things like that, I just think is ridiculous because they don't have the same. What they'd have to do to justify that, they'd have to get the sponsorship deals to match what the men's game gets. So it's bigger than just turn around and saying the country has to pay us more. It's like, well, where do you think the country gets money from? Sponsorship deals. If sponsorship deals aren't big enough in the women's game, then your salaries aren't going to be as big. It's just, it is what it is.
But it's also a case of like a lot of people go to the international games to see their favorite players.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know who the players are who play for England or play for these countries who are women. Like, they just don't. Like,
I think
I honestly I only knew about the women in England winning the Euros because that woman took a top off. That's the only way I know about that, really, is because that was everywhere. And then I was like, oh, we won that. Oh, I might as well watch that game.
Yeah. I watched a fair bit of the Lioness stuff. I mean, my daughter started to play. Heidi started to play. So I kind of got into the women's game a little bit, sort of supporting her as well. We've been watching
the turnover in football transfers. The turnover in football transfers for women is ridiculous as well. Like Liverpool I think Liverpool just finished like 5th or something in their league because we only got promoted last year.
Yeah,
and we've got rid of like 10 players this season. Like, I only know that through podcasts, and I also know that Liverpool are buying the old Melwood Park back.
Oh, okay.
And the women's team are going to play there.
Yeah.
So Liverpool women will get their own training ground. and
That's cool.
yeah, which is good. So that's getting bought back off Jamie Carragher, because Jamie Carragher has got it, and Robbie Fowler, because they own everything.
Something comes up beside Liverpool, we'll have it.
Yeah. I'll tell you something interesting about Lillian Thuram. Sorry, not Lillian Thuram. Keprin Thuram as well, which you probably don't know as well, is Neil Maupay, who plays for Everton. He was interviewed. He was doing some like fitness thing in France. It was only like about a week ago, and he was asked about, like, are there any French players that are coming over to Merseyside? And he was like, yeah. He goes, yeah, one of my friends is going to be my neighbour. And they were like, oh, who's that? And they were like, oh, Keprin Thuram. You let that one go, like.
He ain't going to Everton. He ain't going to Tranmere.
Yeah, he's going to be my neighbour. I was like, well, he's not coming to Everton, is he?
Yeah. Mate, fingers crossed. What I hate, though, is that we get linked. The seasons previously, we've been linked to so many big names, and it just hasn't come around for whatever reason. It's like this whole Bellingham scenario, West Ham one. It's like this whole Bellingham scenario. Like,
isn't that like their first trophy in like 50 years or something?
Something ridiculous, yeah. Well, since they won the World Cup, won it, as they claim.
The World Cup.
But yeah, it's the Bellingham scenario. I was one of the people that sat there, and I kind of, maybe wishful thinking, but I had a little bit of faith. If we could sneak that 4th place position, get Champions League, maybe, just maybe, we could offer him the Champions League football that he might want. We'd have the revenue and the income to pay for his salary and pay for the transfer. And maybe, just maybe, we could do it.
You know what? I've got a different view on that. I mentioned this in another
well, this
show.
Is 2 seconds.
Yeah, go on.
I went off and saw. I went to see a customer up in Birmingham. Not last week before, and I ended up going to see a mate of mine. Do you remember Paul Jennings, Dynamo guy? I went to see him.
Wasn't he in Spain? Didn't he move to Spain?
No. That's
Barcelona.
No, that's I can't remember the guy's
Paul
name.
Jennings, the one who used to come on the floor and he talk really fast.
Yeah. No, the one you're thinking of is Santiago.
Okay.
Alberto. Yeah, sounds like a footballer.
Oh, okay.
Santiago Alberto. But no, Paul Jennings, he was Dynamo guy. Popped in to see him when I was in Birmingham, and he was saying that a mate of his runs a local veterans team up there, and you got the likes of Gareth Bale, Gareth Barry, obviously season before, getting paid $100,000 a week, whatever it is. He's now lining up on a Sunday afternoon, paying his £5 subs for this veterans team, which includes players like Lee Hendry and a couple of other sort of local lads from Aston Villa and West Brom. And
didn't he get an England cap?
Who's that?
He got an England cap, Lee Hendry, didn't he?
Lee Hendry, yeah. Obviously, Gareth
only
Barry.
One, but
yeah, but they're all turning up at this veterans league for this team. This team, apparently, they've won the quad. They're unbeaten in 2 years, and they've won the quad 2 years on the trot. They apparently, Bellingham's old man plays football and trains with all these boys.
Oh, Mark.
From what he is,
Mark Bellingham.
Yeah, Mark Bellingham. So apparently, he has said since basically for the last 6 months, which obviously takes us back to the World Cup near enough, that it's always been Real Madrid. Real Madrid. It's been Real Madrid since the World Cup. There's been nobody else that's even come close. He said they're talking to other teams, and there has been some conversations, but it's Real Madrid.
He was never shown around Anfield. He
No.
was never shown around Anfield.
No. See, I got a little bit carried away when we heard like Liverpool were preparing an offer for his brother Job, and then preparing. We're going to look to give his old man a scouting role, and I thought to myself, maybe, just maybe. But yeah, like I said, I was told last week it was never going to happen. It was going to be Real Madrid through and through. So
I got an interesting spin on that, which might actually tie into what you've just said. I'm just gonna mention this. You know what? Any cup competition that your club plays in and wins, fucking celebrate it. Like,
yeah, it's a European Cup. I know it's a little. Yeah, I know it's a little bit like the Carabao version of the Euro or European football, but fair play to him. Fair play to him.
You know what? I've got nothing against. I've got nothing
a bit of a high as well.
Nothing against it at all. Like we won Cup Winners' Cup years and years ago, like, and we celebrated it.
Yeah,
like, good on them.
Yeah,
I still think they're a bit scummy though for hitting that bloody player with a. I think it was like one of those plastic cups.
Fans though, and it's not the team.
Big up Redbird, good to have you in. Yeah, so my spin on the Bellingham thing is it kind of ties into what you said in a way about the fact that it's always been Real Madrid. I feel like, okay, just hear me out on this one. I feel like we've obviously spoke to Bellingham just like a lot of other clubs have, yeah, and we've obviously said, look, we're really interested in Bellingham. We want to build a team around him in our midfield. We want him to be like the next Steven Gerrard. Yeah. And his dad's turned around and said, look, Bellingham's going to need 6 months out, like, and then rehabilitation next year because he's got to get a knee operation. And we've turned around and gone, we can't wait. Like, we need him right away. And I think Real Madrid has been that team that has just turned around and gone, whatever. Yeah, okay, we can keep Modric and we can keep Kroos on for another year. And then after he's been completely rehabilitated, there's no pressure on him and we can bring him in. And I think that is the deal breaker and the deal maker in that deal.
I think you're probably right.
Because we're not going to spend 80 million on a player that isn't going to play for a year. No, the fans aren't going to let that happen. Yeah. But Real Madrid will, because they don't care. Because they've still got Toni Kroos, they've still got Modric, and they just turned around and said to Modric, "Will you stay another year?" And Modric has gone, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm 36, 37. Yeah."
I think that you look.
I think that's it.
Again, going back to one of the first comments about the Saudi links, I think they've said they've allowed Benzema to exit his contract a year early to go over. Of course they have, because they wanted Bellingham in and they couldn't afford him money-wise, wage-wise, whilst Benzema's still there. But I don't know.
And they just signed a striker. They've just signed a striker as well. I can't remember who it is. They've got a Spanish international. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's bloody good. They've just signed a striker, and I think they've just signed another left-sided midfielder from the Spanish leagues, because that's what they do. Okay. That's what Madrid do. They're really good at doing that. They're really good at taking the best players out the Spanish league and put them into their team. And then obviously they've got all the other players. Mate, you know who they've got next season as well? They've got Endrick.
Yeah.
They spent 50-odd million on that Brazilian wonder kid who's 18. He comes to them next year. They'll have Endrick, Vinny,
and you look at some of the money
guy on the other side.
Yeah, you look at some of the money that Chelsea spunked around on bloody young players and the rest of it in the last season. I say the amount of money they do with that Mudryk and Enzo. Was it Fernandez? What's his name? And again, neither really done a great deal. But yeah, we had one thing. One of the guys
I'm
on
FSG
Facebook
and Kismet, so we're a little bit. We're I'm not having this as like a Klopp out brigade either. So it's not a Klopp out brigade and it's not an FSG out. I'm a bit in both Wales and John. I don't know where you are, but for me, like we dodged a bullet, I think, by not spending so much money on Jude Bellingham. Yeah, because we need midfielders like who are going to play next year, and McAllister's one of them.
There was a comment that was made on Facebook earlier today, and they were saying in the process of signing up this McAllister thing, but why are Fenway Sports Group being so tight again? They pulled out on Bellingham because they couldn't afford him, and now we've got a second-rate midfielder for 35 million. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, second-rate midfielder. No, he's just won the World Cup.
He's not second-rate.
He's what? I don't get me wrong. Bellingham is a great player, absolutely amazing. But what has he actually won? What has he done?
Nothing.
He's played for.
They didn't even win the league.
Well, that's what I mean.
They didn't even win the league. They bottled the league.
Yeah, but like
they lost. They lost against as well. Isn't this really weird? Dortmund lost against Klopp's old team, Mainz.
Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing.
On the last day of the season.
Yeah. But you go, okay, I don't get me wrong. I'm never going to sit here and criticize Jude Bellingham because he's a great player. I can't go as far as saying we've dodged a bullet because a lot of people sit there and say that's just being a bit of Liverpool fan because you didn't get him. Because I'd love to have signed him. But to turn around and say that Fenway Sports Group have been tight and they're spending only 35 million pounds second-rate midfielder, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, but he is now, McAllister is a proven Premier League player. You look at Jadon Sancho, for example.
That's a great one to talk about.
Absolutely rinsed the German league playing for Borussia Dortmund. Don't get me wrong, I think he's been wrongly managed at Man United. But at the same time, because to be fair to him, when he was playing at Dortmund and then he came into the England team, he was brilliant. Gone to Man United, and I struggle to say that he's even been average. To be fair,
he's been
whereas
he's been taken away by the money, mate.
Yeah,
he doesn't even take players on anymore. You don't even see him trying to take players on.
But I say you can't even get in the team ahead of like Anthony and who's the other one? The other winger, Anthony and
Garnaccio's much better than both of them, and he's 18.
Yeah,
crazy. I agree. I agree as well with his, I wish Bellingham the best.
Doesn't do anything. Yeah,
I wish Bellingham the best. I hope he does really well at Real Madrid. I really want English players to do well abroad.
Yeah,
brilliant. He's been absolutely brilliant, and he's 19 years old. But I think you're right.
I do think you're right. I do think someone's had to. We could we have spunked our whole budget on him? Yes. Did we need more than just him as a player? Yes. Yeah. I think if we can get that's a perfect. He's great purchase. We need someone with routine. Yeah, I completely agree, Mickey M. I think if we if you can get McAllister for 35, Thuram for what was it, 33? You reckon it was 33?
Yeah, 33, 34 million.
Oh dear. Mount's a better. I'm so glad we're not getting Mason Mount. I am so glad that we were out of the talks. I know, like I say, it could have
nightmares about him. You know, I was having nightmares about someone being paid 300,000 a week. Like I was, just disruption.
I've sat there so many times, and I've not criticised, but questioned.
His younger brother is going to Sunderland, by the way, for 15 million. K-Mack. He's signing for Sunderland for 15 million. They've got Job. Sunderland have signed Joe Bellingham. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I've sat there, and for years I've questioned Mason Mount's inclusion in an England squad, and a little bit like questioning Milner coming to Liverpool. I was like, why are we signing Milner? He offers nothing. Boring Milner. And Milner proved me wrong. Mason Mount could have come to us. You never know what happens in the transfer window. He might still come to us, and if he does come to us, I hope he proves us wrong. But for now, if he goes to Man United, I really don't care, because I don't think he's any better than
players, mate. I don't want any players that Liverpool fans are split over, and they're split over Mount.
Yeah,
they are split over Mount. There's so many players that don't like Mount. Sorry, people that don't like Mount, and then there are obviously people that do like Mount. I don't want it.
Yeah, my view is then if he's not good enough to get into a Chelsea side that's finishing mid-table, why is he good enough to get into our side? At least when we signed Genie, we signed him from Newcastle when they got relegated. Yes, but he was playing every week, and his stats were actually really, really good in comparison to everybody else in that team. But if you got someone like Mount that, okay, he's had his injury issues this year, but even when he's been fit, he's not been playing. So why would we want a player that can't get into a Chelsea side when they're when they're playing poorly and finishing mid-table?
I also don't like the way he kind of demanded like a new contract. Like we've just had Henderson do that a couple of years ago, and it left a really bitter taste in my mouth. I don't want another player like demanding like, oh well, you've just signed all these players and they're on like 200 grand a week. I want the same. Like, you know, we don't want the dickhead factor at Liverpool. Like we need to not sign any dickheads.
Yeah, that was being my one of my. When you've seen the sort of the talk about players that have left this season, there's been a lot of talk about Oxlade-Chamberlain, and we've been split over this a few times. Oxlade-Chamberlain, when he came to us that first season, he was brilliant for us. Brilliant for us, brilliant for England. One of the first names on the team sheet. His work rate you couldn't question.
No.
If I remember right, he signed for us on 120 grand a week, I think it was. After offers from Arsenal and Chelsea, I think it was either 160 grand or 180 grand a week.
But he signed for us because he turned down a higher bid.
Yeah, I think he turned down 180 grand a week at both Chelsea and Arsenal to come to us with a lower sign-on fee
for someone that young.
Yeah,
he was only like 21 money. That was big money.
Yeah, he was young. 20, yeah, something. I think he might be a little bit older than that. 20, 23, 24 maybe.
I don't think he was. You know?
I think he's been with us. Yeah, because I think this is just his finishing his first contract, isn't it? He had a 5-year deal with us, and I think he's 28, 29. But yeah, I mean, he was offered big money to go elsewhere, and he chose to come to Liverpool for 60 grand a week less to be part of something special and play for the club that he supported. And you go, you know what? Fair play to lad. Like you said, there's so many fans have all sat there chatting about him recently, saying, "Oh, he's just milking the club and he's rinsed the club for all he can get." Blah 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 blah. And it's like the guy signed a 5-year contract. He got a horrendous injury. Never really, I think, recovered from it completely. I think when he does come in, he plays. He tries too hard.
He's been
to impress.
He's been at the club 12 years.
Who? Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant Henderson.
No. Oxlade-Chamberlain. No, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Henderson.
No.
I said 12 years.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Ox. Really, what I feel more sorry about it is he should have been played in midfield more.
Yeah, but he was, wasn't he? When he first came to us. Yeah, when he first came to us, he was played in midfield, and I think.
Can you imagine how good we would have been with Ox and Keita in midfield together?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Keita.
They never played together.
Mate, I would have preferred me to go. I would have preferred to turn up at Anfield and strap my own boots on.
I forgot about Keita. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, we never played Ox enough in midfield.
Yeah, 44 and 4 stone overweight. I would prefer to stick myself in midfield than Keita. Mate, I think he lived off one goal, or maybe 2 goals. I think I think it was 2 similar goals he scored just on the edge of the box on sort of the half volley or something. Other than that, the bloke was
miss-hits. They were miss-hits.
Awful. But regardless miss-hits or not, they still went in.
Where do you think Ox will go then? Where do you think Ox will go? I'm changing the subject. Where do you think Ox will go?
Maybe Brighton, West Ham, maybe back. I would have said back to Southampton.
Literally, Brighton just have like loads of Liverpool reserves.
Yeah, I think Brighton, West Ham. Who's just come up?
Luton,
Sheffield United. Sheffield United, maybe.
Did you hear that? Luton.
Yeah. But yeah, Sheffield United, maybe. I think I think he needs to go to a club where they can show him a little bit of love and they can actually get him playing week in, week out. Stream name.
We're not going to talk about the number 14 yet.
I think he needs to be
Villa or West Ham. I think Villa's a good shout.
Yeah, but I think he needs to go to a club where he can get regular football, and I think that's his problem. When he played for us in, I think it was.
What about Southampton? What if he went back to Southampton?
They're Championship now, don't they? Ain't going to go Championship.
Well, why not? Why not? He's not. He hasn't been playing in the Premier League.
I think he's too good for the Championship, and I don't think they'd. Yeah, I don't think he'd go there. But like I said, I just think he needs to go to a club where he needs to be playing week in, week out, and getting regular game time. And I think that's the problem where he's in one. Well, I think it was last year with AFCON when all our players sort of disappeared off.
He came in and did a job, didn't he? Loads of other positions.
And the pressure was off. He was pretty much guaranteed a starting place because we needed, like I say, Mane wasn't there, Salah wasn't there, Keita was away. I think we had a few injuries as well. So he was pretty much guaranteed a starting place. So the pressure was off and he could relax and he could get in and he could actually play a bit of football. And I think, like I say, everyone fans have talked about his injuries and he's injured all the time. He's been on the bench for the best part of this season and not getting game time.
I know.
But we've had so many issues in midfield.
To be fair, though, I'm glad Jones came on instead of him. Though I'm glad Jones got played.
So am I, because it's worked. But if it hadn't worked and Ox was still sat there on the sideline, it's a value of hindsight, right? It worked, brilliant. If it hadn't worked, then and who knows? Like I say, if we'd brought Ox in, could we have got a job done against a couple of teams we didn't in the end? Could we have got 4th place over without Jones coming in and Ox playing there?
That's a good point. I honestly don't know. Like it's an interesting one. I'm gonna.
Like I say, I personally don't think Ox has been consistent enough. I don't think it would have made a difference. But at certain times this season, when you looked at the way our midfield's performed, there's certain times when you've gone, anyone could have gone in and done a better job.
Yeah, we were pretty dead as a doornail until the owners came over. I think.
Yeah, I think the one thing you could guarantee from Ox is that work rate. You could guarantee because when he comes in, he tries really, really hard, and I think that's his issue. He tries too hard, he overexerts himself, and then gets an injury again. And I think that's been his issue. I think if he's able to relax and just get involved in a game and get involved in a team, I think the injuries will go. But I don't know.
I brought up another
team builder again.
Another team builder. So I'm gonna put a team in that I think will be our first team next year. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can kind of follow suit, all right? Because like we've been linked with loads of players, but I feel like this might be a team for next year. And then I was also going to do the replacement players to fill the other positions as well. So like the backup positions.
Yep.
And this is kind of what I think is going to happen next year. It'd be good for you to kind of, maybe chip in with how you think it is as well. But that's not the formation that I think we're going to play next year. But I'm just going to.
You sticking 4-3-3?
No, that was 4-3-3. I think it'll be this. Hang on. Can I move these?
You have to do it on the formation on the left-hand side. Halfway down, you got formation.
No, it won't let you move them. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's the formation next year, I think. Okay, so I think we can probably just leave him.
Yeah,
I think we can just leave him there.
Yeah. Big Verge. Friend event. If you do space, will it find it? MAC space. No, it's MAC space, isn't it?
Mate, this team is absolute sauce.
It's not. It is the one I sent you similar to one I sent you the other day. Is that one?
I don't know.
See how forward line you go with.
Right.
Yeah, very similarly. There was a. I sent you the one with. Is it Inacio?
Yeah, to be fair though, Inacio is looking like he could have legs as well.
Yeah,
but I just feel like the Mickey van der Ven links are too strong because George Smack used to bloody signed him. Like if anyone's going to get him, it'd be him.
I just worry that a little bit like the whole Chelsea scenario. If we make too many changes, if we make all these changes, what we've got to do, we've got to get it done early doors. Yeah, I think if we're going to make these changes, I think we've got to make it early doors. That's an interesting one, actually. Messi to Inter.
Isn't that really weird? Like Beckham sacked his mate and then signed Messi.
Messi,
they're at the bottom of the table.
It's mad, and I don't overly get it.
They're 5 points at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, but it's a bit like what's his? I don't know how the MLS works, whether there's relegation or whatever. But it's a little bit like Benzema, the current Ballon d'Or holder.
I know.
Quits Real Madrid to go play in Saudi.
Toto League. I mean, he's earning like a ridiculous amount of money. So is Kante, by the way. Kante's going as well.
I get it, but you're the current Ballon d'Or holder.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of. Do you remember in the 1990s when the USA League signed like Jurgen Klinsmann and Franz Beckenbauer and all of those players like all buggered off over there. Do you remember? It was like if you're like 35 years old, go and play in that league.
Yeah.
And they got Gerrard, Beckham, Rooney. They're still doing it.
That's the thing. I get it. There's money to be earned over there, but it's a bit like
the infrastructure.
Ronaldo went there at what, 38?
39? He's 39.
37, 38, I don't know. But he's gone there. He's leaving now, isn't he, Ronaldo? I don't know what his next plan is.
I think it's bull. I think they just keep on bringing it up like, oh, he's played his last game. He's tied down to a contract, like a ridiculous contract, 250 million in it for 2 years or something.
Yeah, but yeah.
The weird thing about Ronaldo that people don't know about as well. This is how the world works as an elite. You're not allowed to live with a girlfriend in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
you have to be married.
That's what's all kicked off, isn't it? Have to be married.
They bent the rules for him. They changed the rules in their country to suit him. I mean, that's like a rule across the entire country, and Ronaldo can do it.
That's where it's been an uproar, isn't it? But that's why they've been an uproar, because they've changed it, and there's people been kicking off about it.
Just for him.
And that's why I think the rumors are he's leaving.
I mean, at the end of the day, all he has to do is just live in a different country and just fly there for the games.
Yeah.
Job done.
But like I say, I just don't understand. I don't understand the Messi to
weird
into Miami. I think
how much is he being paid? Is he taking a pay cut for that?
I don't know to say. The fact he's I think he's still got so much to give to the game. I think that's just bottling it, isn't it? Just well,
that's the weird thing about it, and you're absolutely spot on by that. You've got the Ballon d'Or winner going to play pub football in Saudi Arabia, and then you've got the World Cup winner, captain, going to play pub football in America. They've literally just gone, you know what? We're done. Like, I've won everything.
Okay, go. So apparently, Lionel Messi,
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. He'll be dancing on seeing this sort of kind of buddy money.
Lionel Richie's got to play for Inter Miami.
Yeah, the contract included a £30 million signing bonus and a cut of the profits from image rights, including jersey sales, that could bump his annual salary to $75 million.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Can you imagine how many shirts he's going to sell in America, though? Yeah. That's mental. Like, it's all about the money. Redbird is spot on. It all comes down to money.
But that's what I mean. But then again, like I say, there's nothing to say that Messi couldn't. What I say, do a year in the Premier League. And then bugger off to Saudi, go off to the US.
I mean, all he had to do really is just win the league with Luton, and then that's it. Like he can literally just say I've completed football.
That's what I mean. That's one of the reasons why I will always say Ronaldo's the better footballer, because
That's the only one you've got to say it on.
What's that?
That's the only way you can say it.
Well,
is on that.
He's done it in Portugal.
Am I a Liverpool fan? Yeah, I am. Yeah, why?
Yeah, Portugal, Spain, England, Italy, back in England again. Messi done it in an amazing Barcelona side, which in a league that for majority of his career had two teams. Don't get it wrong, there's no takeaway from Messi's a great player.
And then he went to PSG and there was just one team.
Okay, yeah, PSG where there's one team. And again, even that league, they haven't walked it.
No, they lost the league to Lille, didn't they?
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
And I say, and
they nearly lost it this year as well. By the way,
yeah,
they only won by 2 points.
And they've got front line of Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi. How can you not absolutely romp the league when you've got those three up top, regardless of who's behind you? Worst case scenario, you play hoof football. You just like it's like my Arthill Tigers day. I'm at Rodney Gilbert, big up Rodney Gilbert. Hoof the ball up front, let John run onto it. That was a tactic. Hoof the ball up front, let John run onto it. Don't get me wrong, I didn't score too many times, but that was our only tactic. We were shocking. But if you've got those three players up top, it does not matter, or it shouldn't matter what you've got behind them. But in all fairness, the team they had behind them is pretty fucking good as well.
Yeah.
And how they have struggled at times.
Well, they've sacked that manager as well, haven't they? They've sacked that manager as well.
Yeah. But again, I say it's the fifth tier of European football, French league, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah.
You go English, Spain, Germany. I think Portugal went above it, and then French,
Germany,
and struggles. But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to take anything away from Lionel Messi. Great player, but that's one reason why I will always say Ronaldo is the better player, because he's done it in so many different countries, in better leagues.
Mate, Ronaldo did it on a cold, wet night at Stoke away, and he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Brilliant player,
and he scored and won them the game as well, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think of that team then? Do you think that team gets us top 4 and a final?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally, I know it's going to sound arrogant as a Liverpool fan, but I can't see many people beating that side if we play with confidence, and I can't see how we can't absolutely rinse teams.
Okay,
that's
I'm
going to put
the backup players in there now. Okay, that I think will play in there. Okay, and this is how good a Liverpool squad we actually have if we just sign those couple of players. All right. I'm not going to change Ali, but if I was going to change Ali, it's going to be Keller, because I still think Keller's staying.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think that Klopp played him in that game so he wouldn't get signed.
See, with that, stick him in the window. That's the thing, isn't it?
I can't even spell Keller. Oh, there he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were right, actually. I thought it was KH.
Yeah, it's not weird. Where's that coming? Oh, okay, I'll do Canati. I don't think we're going to sell Matip. because he's only got a year left on his contract.
Who is the other? We've been linked with that. Is it Pavard?
Yeah, I can't see it. You know, I can't see us signing him. He's on a lot of money, and he's yeah. I can't see it. Yeah, I can't see.
You got that Calvin? Is it Calvin Ramsey as well?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even dipped into those players yet, mate.
Yeah.
This is how good a backup team we've got, which I don't think people actually realise. This is how good a backup team we've got. We've got a really good.
Didn't even have to be in our first team for this season. That's the thing.
Seriously, I mean, just look at some of the players I'm putting in here.
Jones, yeah. What do you reckon, Phil Jones? Phil Jones has been released, hasn't he?
I don't want him.
No, I don't want him. Don't want him. But he's been at like Man United for about 1 million years, hasn't he? And
yeah,
never. You might as well just retire. But again, he'll be a decent sign if someone like Sunderland has just come up, or I don't know. Do you put him in that Luton category? It's gonna be interesting to Luton actually.
That's interesting. They probably would.
They've got to sign something.
They probably would get a lot of those type of players. I mean, look at that for a reserve team for backup. I mean, that could be the team for the Europa League.
But Nunes,
Nunes and Jota could alternate. Huh?
No, who did we mention earlier? We said we have 6 front line.
Yeah, we have. Salah's already in the first team. Then you've got Gakpo in the centre, and then you've got Diaz. Carvalho's getting sold or loaned. Like he's not going to be. Yeah. He's not going to be around.
I feel for him a little bit, but I think from what I've heard, his attitude's been pretty shit.
But he's been treated like shit, mate, by Klopp. Let's be fair. Like
yeah. Well, let's be again, like I say, if your attitude's pretty shit, then you're going to get treated like shit, right? So it's.
I mean, he obviously. I mean, you know, he was signed and given like game time, and then just got dropped. And the other player that was playing 10 times worse than him got played, which didn't make any sense. What's that? 15 years ago. Interesting. Hendo Gomez. This is the B team. This is the B team, Redbird. This isn't the A team. Okay. This is just backup. I'm just kind of going through the whole.
This is a rainy night at Stockport.
Yeah, rainy night at Luton. But that's not a bad. That's genuinely not a bad B team. And then you've still got other players, which we've still got. So you've still got. I
reckon Ben Duac.
You've got Ben Duac who could play where Elliot plays. Yeah. We've got Tyler Morton who could play where Stefan plays. Another shout as well.
Kate Gordon's supposed to be.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be back, any from injury.
Yeah, you've got Kate Gordon, and you've also got the Scottish right back that we signed.
Ramsey.
And you've also got the guy Luke Chambers who plays on the left. You've also got the Greek Scouser. I don't think we'll keep him. I think he might get sold. You've also got Thiago, by the way.
Yes.
I haven't even put Thiago in there. So Thiago could play where Stefan plays.
Thing is again with Thiago, I love Thiago. I think like I said before, I think he's.
I think he's staying, mate.
Probably.
I think he's probably going to go on a free transfer.
I think he's our most. Yeah, I think by far he's probably our most talented player. I think he's brilliant, but I just don't think he's got the work rate that suits our team. I think sometimes he's just a little bit too casual on the ball. And there's certain times, like 9 times out of 10, he'll do something absolutely amazing. but that one time out of 10 that he doesn't do something amazing is absolutely fucking horrendous. And next thing you know, the whole team is like the charge of the light brigade, and everybody's running back trying to
fix his mistake. I agree.
Yeah, exactly that.
I totally agree. So, all right, and so I've just done my builder. Let's have a look at yours. Okay,
mate, I'm not going to argue. I think you're spot on.
Oh, really? What? No, even the first team.
Yeah.
There's no other players that.
Yeah, first team. I think you're spot on.
There's no other players that.
I think. The only thing I might do differently is go for maybe like a 3-4-3, but in a 3-4-3.
That with the like diamonds. With that.
Yeah, but again, I still think, you know, Ali there. I still think you'd end up with Trent. I think he needs Trent. I see as being. I don't know. I think what we'd end up doing. I think you'd end up playing a little bit of a 3-3-3 with Trent being a little bit of a floater. And give him a bit of give him the key to the city really, and let him have a roaming role. A bit like, who was it? McManaman back in the day, wasn't it? McManaman didn't really have a position. He was just all over the park at times. Quite how you do it, I don't know.
Is there a way of me being able to unlock this so I can move things around? I can't move things around. I don't think I can move.
What are the options of formations? No, what are the options of formations? To be honest, though, like I say, I'm not going to. I'm not going to argue with your first team. I think it's absolutely spot on. But what I do think you'll end up having, I do think that rather than being locked into that, I think what you'll end up having, where you had with it Kone on the left hand side of the defensive midfielder, I think he'll come more central, and I think Trent will then be given that freedom.
So Kone will play here, and then Trent can just float there. Or would he be around here?
Yeah. Again, I think he gets the option to go wherever he likes, whenever he likes.
Yeah.
And whether we'll see again, like I say, Robbo's a fan favourite, and he's a Klopp favourite. I think there's certain times this year. I think that link up play between, he was absolutely immense. He had that link up play with Mane down to a T, and I think this season,
I agree.
I think that's one thing. I don't think we've missed Mane. What I think we've missed is that link-up play between Robbo and Mane, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And if Robbo can get
Robbo's dropped off,
and I think but I think Robbo's
why is Hussein shaving his head? Redbird, did he lose a bet?
Who's Hussein?
Oh, he's a guy that does This Is Football. It's a good show. It's a good show. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I think if Robbo can get that relationship with Diaz down the left-hand side, anywhere near close to what he had with Mane, and I think he did. Towards the end of the season. I think that relationship and that ability to play together was getting there. I think if they can have a decent pre-season and get that communication going and get that relationship anywhere near what Robbo had with Mane, I think that left-hand side will be lethal again. I think Mane as a player can be replaced. I don't think I think a great player that he was, a great relationship he had with Firmino and Salah early doors. I think it was horrible towards the end between him and Salah. I think there was too much rivalry going on. I think more so his relationship and the way he played.
The AFCON really did it, like for those two. It was really hard on Salah, like bloody hell. Like he lost to Senegal twice. That's tough. And then he's got to play with the captain. Like, yeah, that's harsh. The thing about the left hand side as well. Like a lot of people talked about, like, you know, the fact that Virgil's had a bad season. I don't think Virgil's had a bad season, by the way. I think he might have had a bad season compared to Virgil, but he's still been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I think there's been times with Virgil where I'll be 100% honest. I think there's been certain times with Virgil where I think he's just looked a little bit pissed off at sometimes. It looked like he just can't be asked. It's a bit like, it looks a bit like, well, no one else can be bothered. Why should I? And to a certain extent,
I got nothing bad about Robbo, by the way. He's just not that good anymore. Like, that's all. You know.
I don't think he's not that good. I just think his form's dropped off a little bit, partly because the whole team's form dropped, and that relationship with Mane went. I think he's also build that relationship.
He's also being asked to play a centre back position, and he's not a centre back.
Yeah, I think
don't ask the guy to do something that he can't do.
Yeah, what he's not in the team to do. I think
like Elliot. Like Elliot. He's not. Elliot isn't a central midfielder. Stop playing him there.
No, I think it's a bit like we said last couple of chats. It's the way our team used to work was Robbo and Trent would go bombing down the left and right hand side. Centre defensive midfielder would drop into the defence to create a back three. This season, that dropping bit with the centre defensive midfield wasn't happening. The cover wasn't coming in for whatever reason, and we would be basically left with a back two, and teams are exposed in that. And then it made, I think it made Trent and it made Robbo second guess what they should be doing. I think they were told to a certain extent that they need to restrict themselves slightly because they weren't bombing forwards as they would be doing naturally. And I think they were told to change their game to a certain extent. And when you start, I think, changing your game, you start worrying about what the opposition are doing
mid-season as well,
rather than concentrating. Yeah, but I think when you change your game to worry about what the opposition are doing rather than being a force to reckon with, which means the opposition have got to worry about what you're doing, I think that's when you start losing that presence. I think when you look at, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Roy Keane or someone. I think he made a comment about, I think it was like when Ollie was in charge at United a season or so back. Roy Keane said something about when Alex Ferguson was in charge, they never ever worried about who they were playing against. They never ever changed their team to worry about who they were lining up against because they knew they were that good that the other team would be making the changes to play against them. I feel like his attitude.
I feel like we got to that stage. And we had players in the team where, especially Virgil van Dijk, where you've got a player that gets the ball and they see Van Dijk and just go fuck and just run the other way or just pass it.
I would,
because it's literally the fear factor. But I genuinely feel the Van Dijk thing. I feel like he got played too much when he came back from the injury. He should never have played. He played more games than any other player in Europe, and he just come back from an ACL.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent he had to. Like I say, I mean, he coped with it last season.
Did he? But did he?
Yeah,
because this season maybe the knock on of what happened on last season. Like he didn't get enough rest.
The games he played were last season. I just think it goes back to what we said earlier. I just think
he went to the World Cup. He went straight to the World Cup after that. Like he didn't have any rest.
Yeah, that was winter, wasn't it? But I still think. I still think that we were let down on the basis that our defensive midfielder, who at the time was Fabinho, I think, or Henderson or whatever, neither of them were dropping into that back line and providing the cover that they're supposed to, which was then leaving Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, whoever, overexposed. And I think at times you could see in Van Dijk's face, you could see him literally questioning it, going, why the fuck am I bothering?
You know what?
But then towards the end of
do you want to know an even simpler answer than that? Do you want to know an even simpler answer than that? It was a case of the tactics weren't working anymore. We needed to change them. That was it.
But the thing is, the tactics weren't working because
we can't play that high line.
I don't think
we can't play the high line.
But again, I don't think the tactics. But regardless, I don't think the tactics were working because they weren't getting the cover. The cover wasn't coming in from midfield. The work rate wasn't there in the midfield to cover Robbo and Trent going forward, which meant we ended up having two defenders at the back. And like I say, we'd be exposed with 3 or 4 attackers. And like I say, I think it got to the point where...
No, but we still... but we still have... Like, I don't want an argument about it, but it was like... It was like, look, we're getting overrun in midfield and defence, like, every single game. Yeah, and we were terrible, like, this season because of it. And then Klopp changed it by having less defenders, by putting our right back into midfield. But it wasn't that. But it was the fact that our defenders dropped by 15 yards. That was it. It wasn't the high line anymore. It was we dropped.
But I do think as well. By putting Trent in that hybrid role, it meant we had to go then to a static back three. Not a static back three, but a rigid back three. So in theory, the job that the centre back should be coming in and creating the back three, no, not centre back, the job that the centre defensive midfielder should come in to create that back three wasn't a job they had to do anymore because we played with a back three with Trent doing that floating role. So I think, I think we did drop a little bit and we didn't play as high as we normally do. But I do think as well, we played with a back three. Personally, I think we need to...
But Robinson wasn't there.
Sack off the... I don't know, Robinson was playing, wasn't he? I mean, he was still, like you said, he was still coming in doing that centre defensive midfielder role.
And he was shocking.
Back role. But again, it's not a job that he's in there to do, is it? It's not his natural style of play. The thing is, though, like I say, I can't sit here and criticise Robbo because, like Mabel said earlier, Premier League assist record holder, whatever it is at the moment.
Incredible.
You can't criticise the guy. He's had one bad season when the whole fucking team's been bad.
I agree. No, I agree.
I do agree.
Would you take 45 million for him? Devil's advocate.
Not with the options we've got at the moment.
You wouldn't take 45 million for Robbo?
No, not with the options we've got at the moment. If we had another left back lined up that we could replace him with?
He's 29. He's 29. He's going to drop off a cliff. No, you don't see him dropping off a cliff like Fabinho.
That's prime. That's prime.
But he's not.
28, 29. That's really supposed to be his prime.
But he ain't gonna. He ain't gonna take coming off the bench, mate. He's gonna want to play every single game. Just like Henderson. Like Fabinho.
Why is he not going to play every game? If that Mickey van der Ven comes in and he's half as good as he's supposed to be, then maybe take the money. If Robbo's as committed to Liverpool as he makes out, like I say, was he vice captain and whatever, he takes the armband, then he's got to do his bit and he's got to be happy, a little bit like Thiago and whoever it is at that kind of age. You do your bit part, you sit there and you smile and you come on for your 20 minutes at the end of the towards the end of the match. If he doesn't want to hang around and do that, then that's up to him. But like I said, it's difficult to. I think it's really harsh to judge him when, like I say, the whole team's been pretty shit. He's lost that relationship with Mane, and the cover from midfield, giving him and Trent the ability to go forward and do their natural role, has been taken. Because midfield just haven't covered them. It's a bit like I say, Trent as a right back was being exposed. The luxury he's got is he's been handed a new position in midfield, which has worked. But would we be sitting there having this conversation about Trent based on his performance at right back this year? No. You'd probably be questioning whether or not, if you got offered 45, 50 million for Trent, would you take it based on his performance at right back this year? No.
No, because I feel like we've been playing the best midfielder in the world as a right back for the last 5 years.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I've said that. We've had that conversation last time when we had one of these chats. You
know what's quite scary? Listen to this. You know what's quite scary? Imagine playing.
You're breaking up. What?
You
said what's scary? Yeah.
You know what's quite scary? Imagine playing Trent and Thiago together.
Hello.
Hear us?
Hello. I got 4 bars. It's not me.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. Can you see us? Okay, let me come out and come back in. 2 secs. Can you hear us now? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I've switched over a different one. I've got 2 Wi-Fis in the house. So I've switched over to another one. So just in case it is me.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. You know what's quite scary? Imagine playing Trent and Thiago together in the double pivot.
That'd be...
Wow. Can you imagine that? Trent and Thiago in the double pivot. And guess what? We got both those players.
Yeah.
That
could work, actually.
That would be frightening.
But I think the one thing that's worked towards the end of the season is putting Trent and Curtis Jones into the middle, and all of a sudden you've got some legs, you've got some people that can run around, you've got some people that can apply pressure and shut people down. And for everything that Fabinho's done, everything that Henderson's done, I can't criticise them, but don't know. Like I say, having that work rate in the middle, it's worked. It's worked. It's
Absolutely.
what we call for. It's what we've talked about all season. Having that work rate in the middle.
What we've been shouting about legs. All those players as well that we're looking to sign have all got legs, and they never get injured. Honestly, they run for days.
The one thing I was a little bit disappointed about. Talk about midfield. Was that last game of the season? Obviously, didn't mean anything in the end. We were pretty fucking dire. You could tell for a lot of those players, it didn't mean anything. If it didn't mean anything, why not play a lot of the players that have just sat on the fucking bench. I would have loved to have seen that Arthur Melo get.
I don't understand why Arthur Melo didn't get a game. He played Milner the whole game. Played Milner the whole game.
I get it from a certain extent. Give him a send off.
No, we played Milner in about 5 different positions in that game. It's like, he played right back, left back, centre, midfield.
Yeah, but again, like I say, fair play. Play him. It's his last game. He deserved the right to be there. But when you've got Melo, that he's come to us, he's got injured whilst trying to get up to speed. He's got himself fit again. But then he's got himself fit again. He's got himself onto the bench, so he must be fit. He's got himself onto the bench for the last 10 games of the season, whatever.
Yeah, never
not got a single fucking minute.
Same with Carvalho. Pair of them were sat together.
Yeah. And that last game season meant absolutely fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Let Bobby have a full game. Let Cater carry the water bottles.
Cater and Oxwick didn't even go down. They didn't even go on.
No, Cater was injured, wasn't he? Cater
and Ox didn't even get on the bus, mate. They were done.
No, I know Cater. I didn't know Ox didn't go, but I know Cater was injured. But
I mean, I don't even understand why he took him. I don't even understand why he took Melo down there. What's the point in taking him?
But again, I say if you're going to take him, give the Mountain game time. I feel for him, and I say he's fit. Let him get on the pitch and let him show what he can actually do.
He played in the under-21s.
I think
he played quite a lot of games in the under-21s.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Getting himself up for fitness, and if that's the case, let him get on. Let him give him, even if you give him half hour, 40 minutes. If he gets injured,
for maybe a contract. Like he was playing for maybe a contract next season. Like we'll never know what Arthur Melo was because he never got played. Like he could have been a worldie.
But he played once. He played in that. He played in that horrible game against.
We got smashed by Napoli 4-1. That's the worst game I've ever seen.
He played like 12 minutes a game.
That's the worst game I've ever seen under Klopp.
Yeah,
we were terrible.
Yeah, he played in that, and then
brought him on for 14 minutes.
Yeah,
like we were 3-1 down when he brought him on. Like, what's he going to do?
I had no chance. But I just don't understand. In that last game, it meant nothing. Give him, and like I say, I mean, he made some nice words as well towards the end, and it was in the press. It was a bit like he thanks Liverpool and all the fans and all the support he's had. Hopefully, he'll be able to get some game time and pay us back for what he's done. Mate, it would have been a nice little fairy tale ending. He comes along and scores a bloody winner, or do you know what I mean? Just then sign off. But what you'll have in the meantime, you'll have all these so-called red fans that will now just sit there and just say he's milked the club for all he can get, and what a waste of a signing he was, and like I say, the guy never had a chance. But I don't know.
How do you feel about Ben Davies?
Anyway, mate, as I say, I'll just see the time.
Yeah, no, I was gonna play a little Roberto Firmino video.
Okay.
Gonna watch it.
Roberto Firmino.
Yeah, hang on. And that was it. I was gonna play that at the end, so I'll do that now. Here we go.
I got to admit, I forgot to say how good he did link up.
Can you see it?
So how good his goals were. Yeah.
There we go. Remember that one? He loved Arsenal, didn't he?
Yeah.
He loved a goal against Arsenal. Cheeky. So this has also got his assists in it, because people don't really talk about his assists, because he had a lot of assists. What a player. Seriously. What a goal that is. We ain't got many players that could do that. that had the cooling calm to just chip a keeper like that.
Sure.
That goal against City, mate. That's the one that got us back in the game. Double post. Remember this one against Leeds?
Keeps freezing his end. Yeah.
Remember this one?
Yeah, that's when he was being accused of diving all the time.
Bang!
Yeah.
Chip. What a game that was.
I think something happened to him because he's saying in these videos you can see his pace, and I say he just hasn't seemed to have had that pace these last couple of years, has he?
He got a couple of injuries, didn't he?
Yeah, that was naughty.
He probably just played too much, mate. Never got a rest. And off the post. We were just like the red arrows, weren't we? See, everyone was like, there's like three players all no look goals.
Finish. Love it.
Yeah.
I remember when we signed him. I remember someone turning around and saying, "We're signing this Brazilian bloke that scores goals when he's not looking."
That's against PSG, by the way.
Yeah.
Man City again. Oh no, this is Arsenal. He puts every Arsenal player on their arse. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. I remember saying time. It was a Gig scored one, didn't he? From the halfway line, taking everyone on against Arsenal, didn't he, years ago?
Yeah.
Didn't quite run as far as Giggs did, but again.
And his celebrations were class.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a long time to replace some of the stuff he does, because I don't think we've got players that can do that anymore. You look how many goals he scores from just on the edge of the box. We ain't got forwards that do that now. Like, we just haven't got forwards that are that calm. Like, even Salah doesn't do stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Salah rushes things sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah. Look, he's always got time. Look, top corner, dink.
He makes himself time, doesn't he? That first touch.
Makes himself time. No, always got time. Mate, I don't think Firmino's ever scored a crap goal. He doesn't score tap-ins really either.
No.
What a finish that is.
That's what that's what we were saying the other day. There was a reel of Haaland's top 10 goals, and I think 9 out of 10 of them were like 2-3 yard tap-ins.
And his headers. People forget about how good he was in the air. That was the winner, that.
I love that kit.
Against Tottenham. 2-1 that game, wasn't it? What a header that was. Look at that back heel. Oui.
That's the thing. That's doing the unexpected, isn't it?
Gakpo's not like that. Nunes isn't like that. It's going to be hard to replace him. We haven't got players that can do that. We just haven't. It's going to be really, really hard. I don't think we realise how hard it's going to be to replace what Firmino could do. I really don't think we understand how hard it's going to be. And he scored so many goals that were clutch goals. And he created so many chances. like, and also assists, like 25 assists here. Like, and these are assists that win us games. Like, and he's been doing it for years and years. So the integration is going to be really hard for the rest of the new players to be able to do stuff like this. I mean, look at that for a cross. He is an absolute legend. Like, there's not many players that get legend status, but I'd say Roberto Firmino is definitely in that category. You know, these are all the assists. These are all the assists, mate. Some of his assists were just insane. Look at this. They're all really like through balls and crosses and chips, like on a plate.
See, this is early doors, though, isn't it? It's when it looked like Salah, Firmino, and Mane all wanted to play with each other. There's just too much rivalry in the end, wasn't it? I think.
I mean, I don't. You know, at the end of the day, I don't mind rivalry. You know, because look at that. What a flick that was. I think that was against Man United, that one. That is brilliant. That looks like a European game as well. That was for Lovren. We ain't got players that can do that, John. Like, next season, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to replace him. Like, he does so much.
Do we know where he's going yet?
Huh?
Do we know where he's going yet?
No.
In Spain somewhere, isn't it?
Well, he's made for Real Madrid, isn't he? He could replace Benzema.
Yeah, Real Madrid or Barca.
He could replace Benzema. Absolutely. It fits in perfect. Like,
I think he's better.
And he's also played with all the Brazilians there. He's also played with all the Brazilians.
Yeah.
He's played with Vinny before. And Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Is it Rodrigo?
I think where the Spanish leagues are a little bit slower, I think they'll I think he'll go there and absolutely ruin things.
Yeah. All right, we're finishing now. All right. Thanks for everyone who tuned in, and mate, we'll catch up again soon. All right, because there was loads of stuff I didn't actually talk to you about.
Yeah,
we always end up
we didn't talk about. We
didn't talk about Henderson. We didn't talk about Henderson. We didn't talk about Henderson. We didn't talk about Klopp.
No.
We also didn't talk about the players that we're probably selling. But yeah, hang on.
See, I think we'll only sell two. I think, being honest, I think we'll only sell maybe 2 or 3. I think with obviously losing some Cater and likes, like that. That's naughty.
There's just no one else that can do that. No one else. That was an assist. It just bounced off him. You see that little foot flick he did? Look at that. You just don't need to do that. That's just sauce. Huh?
That was Rangers,
see that last one? That was just sauce.
He's naughty. I'd say he's one of those players that, like we said before, I think someone like him, Milner, Hendo, I think they would be great ambassadors for the club. That, like I say, when you have some young players come in, they could be the kind of players or they would be the kind of players you'd want there to kind of try and nurture and help young players kind of settle into the team. I think a shame to a certain extent we've lost Milner. Like I say, although I wasn't the biggest advocate when he signed, I still think we should have given him another year and then retire. And, well, give him another year and hopefully see him retire with the club and get him on a coaching role.
Do you know what's interesting as well?
You
know what's interesting as well? McAllister's younger than Trent.
That is mad.
Not mad.
World Cup winner.
Yeah, he's younger than Trent.
World Cup winner. Someone asked earlier, who our last, who was the last World Cup winner that we had in our team? Would that have been like Torres, Alonso, and
Didier Man?
Didn't the Spanish boys win the World Cup and the?
Was Torres in the team then?
I think it was Torres, Reina, and Alonso.
I don't know whether Torres was in the team. I don't know whether Torres was in the team. Pepe Reina might have been a sub. They had David Villa. They had David Villa up front in that World Cup. So I think that was after Torres. Torres was shit then, remember? He played for Chelsea. He didn't play for us then.
I still think he was in the squad.
He played for Chelsea then. He didn't play for us. He didn't play for us. You mean in our team? Didier Man was a World Cup winner in our team, like for Germany in our team. I remember.
Well, again, it'd be like if McCalla comes to us, he'll still be a World Cup winner when he just.
I mean, like he played for us when he won the World Cup.
Yeah,
I think so. I think Didier Man. I might be wrong now. I think I'm wrong.
I can't even get on Wiki.
I don't know. I think I'm wrong. I'll look into that. I'll tell you what else is interesting as well. Thuram, Kone are on less than 50 grand a week as well. Right now.
Right now.
They're on less than 50 grand a week.
Torres, 2010, South Africa. When was he with us? Liverpool. 2007 to 2011.
So he was in our team.
Yeah, so he was with us at the time.
He won the World Cup.
When he won the World Cup.
Oh, that's brilliant. He was brilliant.
And when he won the European Championships, 2008, he'd been with us a year.
He was brilliant.
Torres.
When he left us,
Torres and Suarez.
He couldn't cope without Gerrard.
I honestly think Liverpool knew as well. He had an injury. There was a niggle. I think there's certain teams that there's certain players that suit certain teams or certain teams that suit certain players, whichever way you want to look at it. You look at Coutinho. Coutinho has gone off, hasn't replicated it or didn't replicate it at Barcelona. Done well at Bayern Munich. Then hasn't been able to do it back at Barca. Hasn't been able to do it at Aston Villa.
Didn't Torres lose the Champions League final with us, and then win it with Chelsea? Was he in the team that got beat by Kaka? Rafa Benitez's second Champions League final. Because I know we played Harry Kuehl, but did we have Torres then? Because he won the Champions League with Chelsea, didn't he? Under Di Matteo.
Honours with Liverpool. Honours. I don't know. Don't say.
I don't know now.
Chelsea, Spain.
He's won the Champions League with Chelsea, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But did he play in the Champions League final with Liverpool? Because I remember he scored in the Champions League for us. Like, we went on that mad run where we beat like Barcelona away, and he scored. Oh no, he didn't. That was Owen, wasn't it? Was that Owen or was that Torres? I can't remember now.
Career stats. Let's have a look. So Liverpool. Premier League. Let's say. Yeah, I've always said though, between like when you sort of say who would you prefer, Torres or Suarez in your team? I think Torres has just had.
Torres scored that goal against Barcelona, which reached the Champions League final.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
But yeah, Torres, I just see was a little bit. He had a little bit more finesse about his game, whereas Suarez was that typical South American, just played with a bit of a rag between his teeth. You know what I mean, and just shook the life out of teams sometimes.
Did he play? Oh, man, I can't remember now. What? Did he play for Liverpool in the Champions League final? Right, okay. So, okay. Hang on, let me bring this up so you can see it. Oh, you go out. We'll go after this, okay?
Cool.
We need to know this now about Torres. Okay. Can you see this?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Right. Wow, we won 75 games with him in the team. 100. He only scored 65 goals in the league.
He was only with us about 2 seasons, wasn't he?
Oh, 102 games,
2-3
65
seasons?
goals.
Yeah.
81 goals in 142 games. That's insane. Like that. He signed for 20 million, mate.
Yeah.
That's insane. Did he play? Okay, let's see. Fernando. Spanish. Okay. Torres did not finish the debut season with a winner's medal for the club, but on the international scene, it's quite a different story. Torres travelled to the European Champions squad teammates, Pepe. So they progressed to the final in Vienna. He scored a brilliant first half winner that won them the European Champions final. And he's won it under 16s, under 19s, and now senior. That's incredible. That's what you were saying, niggling injuries. Is there anything about?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Liverpool knew something wasn't quite right, because he was. I admitted, him and Gerrard seemed to be on, let alone the same wavelength. It was the same bloody tidal wavelength. They were ridiculous.
They were incredible.
But I don't think Chelsea. I don't think Chelsea played to his strengths. And also, I don't think he was half a player when he went there.
So, what's this say? Champions League. Oh, I don't know.
It's looking for a needle in a haystack, isn't it?
I'm looking for a needle in a haystack. You think it'd just be easy enough to find? I don't know. All right. We'll look at that another show, right? We'll do a Torres show. All right, I'll catch you later then, John, okay? Right, big up everyone that's tuned in tonight, and we will catch up again in a week or so, and we'll carry on with football chat. Big up everyone that's tuned in, and like and subscribe to the channel. If anyone wants to get on here sometimes, write me a comment and let me know. In the meantime, everyone, have a good evening and big up the Reds. Good night.